Let's start the podcast off with an arm wrestle.
You want to do this?
No. Ken, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm really good. I'm impressed. This. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for everything.
Thank you, my brother. So yeah, it's good to have you in the flesh. Once.
I mean, yeah. After what last year? Yeah, 2020.
2020.
With the online podcast, and now I'm physically here. It's better.
I got you in the virtual in the season 1. Now I've got you in the flesh. Now I've taken you from Spain, or shall I say, Big Ken has come back to Big Ben. That's pre-written.
No, you didn't need to say it. It was true.
Yeah, man. How you feeling, man?
Good, man. I got back on Saturday, so it's been a bit of a crazy week, kind of adjusting. Like I've got jet lag. Adjusting in terms of just London life. It's just, obviously I know London, but it's different. It's 6.5 years. It's different.
It's different. Yeah. Don't worry, and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna dig deep into how it's been since you've been in Spain and you've relocated. But before my producer shoots me, for those of you watching, hello everyone. This is the Sound of Accra Podcast, and we promote global Ghanaian excellence. This is the show where we chat with colourful creatives and entrepreneurs from a Ghanaian background, all with a special interest to Ghana, bringing you one step closer to Accra. And today, my special guest is Ken Daniels. He's also my cousin, but AKA a creative videographer, content producer, social media guy, REELS Papi. We're gonna get into all your AKAs and your nicknames. More AKAs than the 47, right?
Literally that. That one wasn't pre-written. That wasn't
pre-written. That was off the dome.
That was probably the best intro I've had.
Thank you very much.
Ever.
You deserve it, mate. You deserve it.
Thank you, sir.
You deserve it. Yeah. So tell us, man. So obviously you're back in London. You've left Madrid, after 6 years, like Ronaldo or something.
Yeah. Big return.
You're not Manchester, but you're in London, right? Okay. So talk us through, what was the kind of motivation behind, moving, relocating, and how would you? Okay, let's tackle that question first. Yeah.
So I guess the simplest answer is Spain is a great place in terms of like culture, lifestyle, even simple things like sunlight. There's sun. I think it's like 300 days of the year that I say I'm not there anymore, but we have sun.
Yeah.
And it is great. Economically, it's not obviously one of the strongest countries in Europe.
Yeah, I heard, man. Like, is it like Italy? Because I heard in Italy recently, like the tax rate is like 65%.
Yeah, so the tax isn't that high, but for people like myself, for example, freelancers, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call us, it's stacked against you. So essentially you pay out tons of money, and that after a certain period of time you say, look, I'm paying out all this money, but what am I getting back? I don't mind, I pay my taxes. I don't mind paying my taxes, but at the same time, if the money's not coming in, it's not balanced. So
Pandora Papers, hello.
Exactly. So one of the main motivations was I kind of reached, I feel like a ceiling in Madrid specifically, I guess. I know there's opportunities in Barcelona, but Madrid. And I was like, cool, it's time for me to move on to somewhere else. And I had a look at Barcelona, because it's got a really huge immigrant community and things like that. And then I said to myself, well, what if I went back to London for a little bit just to see what it's like? Because I came to Spain, the idea was 3 months, and then come back, and it was 6.5 years.
It was actually, and let me just give a little bit of context for those that didn't listen to season 1. So I did a season 1 episode of Ken here, and in season 1, which you can go and check out, we talked about Ken finding freedom in Spain, and Ken's journey to move into Spain and living there and picking up the language. He's fluent in Espanol, you understand? So for those of you that want to learn more about his journey to Spain as a Ghanaian, British Ghanaian, and how he, settled in, etc., please go check the episode out. Hey guys, this is Adrian with a quick message from our brand new sponsors, Ice Cream and Ting. So, are you a foodie in the UK that finds dessert options on food delivery apps a little bit basic and uninspiring? Well, you need to get yourself some Ice Cream and Ting ice cream and indulge yourself today. They make small batch ice cream tubs with flavors that are rich and inspired by the African continent
and the Caribbean. So what are you waiting for? Get some luxury ice cream ordered straight to your door by heading over to icecreamandting.com and enjoy this experience like I am today. Thank you very much. Now back to the episode.
Now back to the show.
Smooth with it. He's smooth with it every time. Does not miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, hit that ceiling and basically said, look, I'm going to come back to London for a little bit. Came back in August to see family after pandemic as well. Well, after all of the global lockdowns.
Oh yeah, I remember because when I spoke to you, you were in a lockdown, I was locked down.
Yeah.
We were more locked down than Carney's love lockdown.
Exactly. So it was the first time coming back to like see family, to see friends, see all the newborns because everyone pandemic babies.
Baby boom,
boom, yeah, boom. People were busy.
Skyrocket.
Some of us were freelancing, some of us were lancing some other stuff. So yeah, when I came back, I said, look, maybe I could just come back. Like Spain is 2 hours away on the plane. Yeah. It's easy for me to come back here the same way it's easy for me to go back there. So at the moment, it's kind of like I'm in between the two places, but my base is now London, kind of thing. So. Nice. I'm happy with that.
Thanks, man. That's quite something there. And how would you compare Madrid? Is Madrid your main base? You don't? Did you actually live in other cities or just Madrid?
So I lived in Madrid for the whole time that I was there. Okay. But first, like, I had a stint where I worked in events, and part of my job was to be like I was like a tour guide, travel guide.
Yeah.
So I would take groups of people out to different parts of Spain. So I've pretty much covered all of the big parts of Spain, even to like the random villages that everyone's like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I went this place. They're like, why were you there? And it's just like, just like traveling. So I know lots about different parts of Spain, but in terms of living, Madrid was my base, basically.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting actually, because I guess as a Ghanaian, like you don't really hear of a lot of Ghanaians. I'm sure there's might be a Ghanaian community in Spain.
Very small.
You go. You normally hear Ghanaians like living in terms of diaspora or maybe even native, being born in those countries. You normally hear maybe the countries like Germany or Italy, but never really Spain. So I think for you to kind of like be in Spain for that time and kind of acclimatize, I think that's quite something. And you definitely flying the flag for GH.
All day, every day.
100%. And actually, I wanted to ask you about the tour guide thing. Do you think, was that more of an opportunity for you just to kind of like get a job and to kind of settle in, or was it an opportunity for you to actually learn more about Spain and learn, and give you an opportunity to actually explore the country?
It's a good question because retrospectively, it was a really good opportunity for me to explore the country, but I never got into it for that.
Okay.
I had been teaching English because it's very common that most people that come over to Spain, the first job you get is you teach English. And basically I got tired of that and said, look, I want to do something different. Yeah. And I'd been going to these events. Now this company, their whole base is that they help people get installed into Madrid, into Spain. So they set you up with a bank account, they set you up with your first phone. Wow. They do language exchanges, they do wine tasting, all kind of cultural events that you have. Also do event nights like club nights, parties and all that kind of stuff. So I would go to these events as a customer, and then at one point I turned to I didn't even know he was the boss. I just knew that he was running that event and said, look, at some point I want a slice of this. What do I have to do?
100%.
And he said, come back next week and you can help out with one thing. And that then grew to...
It grew to your current career.
Exactly.
Or what you do as a profession. And we explore that in season 1. So once again, go listen to that. I love that.
This is your favorite camera.
I love your favorite camera. It's just right at me. Yeah. It's just bam. Man. It's direct. Golden gun. There you go. Oh. Yeah. So look, it's great to have you back in the UK. And what would you say are the pros and cons? I know it's like a pop quiz, but I'm just curious to know, like, how would you kind of like compare Madrid to London, like the pros and the cons?
Oh. This is something that goes through my head every single day. When I step out the house, I'm like, okay, the first one that people need to understand is a real problem. Yeah. This weather is bipolar. It's not okay.
It's not always okay.
It's not okay to be raining for 7 minutes and then it's 26 degrees for 3 minutes and then again it's windy. What do I wear? Today I'm wearing this jumper and a jacket because who knows, it might hail. I have no idea.
It's London, man. London. It rains anytime or snows anytime.
And I'm not used to that. I'm used to looking out my window, seeing sunlight and saying, cool, t-shirt. Wake up the next day, cool, t-shirt.
Yeah.
You get into that habit where you don't look at the weather app. The only time you do it is when it's going to be really hot. So when it's like 30, 35 and you say, cool, I'm staying inside. So yeah, with that, that's been like a huge, it's been messing with my head basically, because I'll leave the house and I'm like, I don't even know if it's cold or hot. The sun is out, but it could be freezing cold. Everything is far. Everything is an hour away, hour and a half.
Really?
Just traveling from East London to West London. In Madrid, because it's so small,
Yeah.
someone's like, "Oh, we're gonna meet up here." When you travel an hour, you've literally crossed the whole city.
Wow.
Like it's not big
Obviously,
at all.
it's not as big as London.
No,
Really? So London's bigger?
London is. When people in Spain are like, "Oh yeah, but London's not that big," I'm like, "You have not left.
You have no
You've
idea.
not left. You've not
London's
experienced
quite
life
big.
yet."
Yeah, London actually.
So that's a weird thing when people say, "Oh, let's meet up," and you're like, I don't know, you're out, you finish work at whatever 5, 6 o'clock, and someone says, "Oh, let's meet up. Where are you?" And they'll say, "Oh, I'm in Croydon," and you happen to be in Paddington, and you start doing the calculations and you say, "Yeah, I'm going to see you on the weekend." That is weird for me. In Spain, you just kind of get up and say, "Let's meet up when?" Probably in half an hour, and you just casually go there.
Casually.
Yeah, so that's
Okay. So it's travel, the bipolar weather,
food.
food.
I mean, I'm used to going to like a bar and ordering a drink and they just give me free tapas.
Yeah.
Here, I go to a bar and they say empty your bank account and give me nothing. It's not okay. It's not okay at all.
Okay, so that's some of the maybe more. That's more of the pro. So we kind of explored.
Yeah.
It's kind of cons. That's more of the pros.
Nice. So those are, I guess the pros from the Spain side, and then the pros from the UK. I think pace is really. It's nice to be able to say we're going to do this at this time, and that's the time that you're doing it.
Yeah.
So we're going to meet up today. We're going to meet up at 7.
There you go.
Cool. Quarter to 7. We're there. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Activities, which no one really thinks are activities because they're normal things, but like one of my favorite things in the UK or London specifically is bounce. You know what bounce?
Bounce.
It's
my memory.
So bounce is a bar
Okay.
that has loads of ping pong tables, a couple of beer pong tables, and a dance floor.
Okay.
And basically you just go
Like
and
that.
play ping
One of those
pong.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it to exist.
Yeah.
But it's great. And
Yeah.
for me, someone's like, "Oh, what are you doing on Thursday night?" "Oh, we're gonna go to bounce."
Okay.
I'll be there for the whole night. I can't play ping pong well. I'm just hitting.
Hitting it.
And sometimes in Madrid, there's like, okay, there's like 4 activities to do. You've done them all. And then when you want to do something new, you have to wait for somebody to come install like a pop-up, and then it's like, we're doing
One
like,
of those ones.
axe throwing became a big thing maybe a year and a half ago, and it's been a big thing for years across the world. So everything takes a lot longer to get there. So like, it's nice being here where
everything's a bit more slower. Okay, it's a lot more fast-paced. There's new innovations coming out all the time.
exactly.
But with Madrid, Spain is a bit more kind of slow, a bit more chilled, laid back.
Yeah,
You're limited because it's a smaller city. Naturally, organically, it's gonna have less to do as well, right?
But also culture-wise, there's no urgency or necessity to constantly better yourself.
Okay.
And sometimes that's really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not. But like London has this mentality of, I've done this, it's working well, I can do it better.
Yeah.
Spain has the mentality of, I've done this, it's working well.
No problem.
I don't need to do any more until things start going the other way. Then I'll try and better it.
No problem more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
C'est problème. I might speak French. Anyway, let's skip the language bit. By the way, guys, for today's show notes, just make sure you head over to thesoundofaccra.com/Ken Daniels. All right.
A whole section. A whole section in my name.
Just
I'm
for you.
famous.
Just for
So,
you.
thank
Just for you, sir.
Thank you.
Great. Awesome. So, would you say you regret it? Would you say you've regretted living in Spain, or do you feel like it's an experience that you're glad you took, because obviously you left your comfort zone to go and move to Spain, and obviously you've kind of pivoted yourself in your career and your profession. And now you're this very talented videographer.
Thank you.
Everybody wants to hire.
You're too kind.
Everybody wants to hire.
Yes, it's a busy life. It's a busy life. So, no, I can, from the bottom of my heart, I can honestly say that, like, I was talking about this same topic with a friend about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and she also lived in Spain for 9 years and went back to the States.
Okay.
And we were talking, and she was like, she feels that Spain was like a training ground for her.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur.
Nice.
She also runs her own business and has just been growing like crazy. Shouts out to Majida.
Yeah.
But she's completely right. Like, I don't have any regrets about Spain. I think even the time that I left, I thought to myself, have I wasted time? Should I have gone back to London earlier? Things like that.
Yeah.
But the time that I left was at the point where I said, look, I've explored every avenue. I've
you-
tried to do everything that I could do. Now that I'm leaving, I'm not like, but I could have done this or I could have done that. I'm like, I did it. I saw what was good. I saw what wasn't good.
Yeah.
I don't have any what ifs or buts or maybes. It's done. So I'm really glad I had that experience. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't think that I would have the mindset I have now towards business, towards relationships like friends, family, the way that I do if I hadn't been in Spain all this time.
It makes sense because I sense that because there was less opportunities than probably here, if I can imagine, it being Spain or Madrid and smaller kind of thing, you were kind of pushed to kind of create your own opportunities in a sense, to pitch and things like that,
Yeah, and pitching is a lot difficult when you've already kind of got the mindset of, okay, cool, I've done this type of business before, I've worked with videographers before, I've worked with creators before, you know how it works, you kind of, it's easier to have that conversation of, okay, well, you're about to create something for me that I cannot see, I cannot touch, but it's going to be cool. And in London, people have that, they do that day in, day out, so when you go and do a pitch, we're talking the same language. Whereas in Spain, it was very much like, we've never done something like this before. We're okay with you holding our hand throughout the process. But then for that whole process, it's like, okay, cool. Am I going to be compensated for that? Well, the budget is this.
Okay.
And then you say,
different
okay, well.
mentality kind of thing, like,
So
maybe even like Ghanaian, it's like, oh man, that's even a different, worse mentality. Let's just keep it to Spain.
No, but my dad said every time I would call my dad, because evidently you call when you complain, you call when you complain. Every time I call my dad, he would burst out laughing and be like, oh, you will thrive in Ghana. And I'm like, why? And he's like, these things that you're telling me, you've only been annoyed about one thing. There's about 7 things in that sentence that are infuriating.
It's worse. It's like maybe 10 times worse in Ghana. Like the mentality is just, like, you know, I've done the job, so you're not going to pay me. Oh, we have this budget to be like, no, I've done this. I expect to be, you know, compensated,
exactly,
remunerated this amount. So, anyway, that's another conversation.
Exactly.
But you know, I think you've developed into a fine videographer. I've seen your Instagram reels. Actually, let's talk about
the reels.
The reels.
I knew this question was coming.
It was coming, baby. It was coming.
I knew this question was coming.
I'm trying to reel you in. Fishing without a fishing rod. That's not a prerequisite. All right,
Listen,
let's be natural.
You had the good sleep yesterday. The good sleep.
I had actually like 4 hours sleep. I don't know how to sleep. The day before I had 2 hours sleep. I don't know how I'm even awake. But anyway, let's talk about Instagram reels. Look, first of all, I want to say, look, you're doing a fantastic job. Can you basically tell everyone what your Instagram is? I know we normally do that at the end, but we're going to get you to do that at the end. But tell everyone what your Instagram is right now, because I want you guys to check out Hello Echo's Instagram, because his Instagram reels are just my favorite, one of my favorites I've ever seen on Instagram. I'm not being biased because it's family. Honestly, you know, he sold me, his services just by looking at his reels. I mean, now I want to work with him. Like, I want to find an excuse to make reels because you're working so freaking good, man.
Listen. If I could blush, I would blush.
You would thrive in Ghana. Like, I can't wait for you to kind of come down. I'm sure hopefully, I know we've had conversations about you coming to Ghana, to Accra. I know we'll probably talk about that. I mean, I think if you come to Ghana, you can give some of these guys a run for their money, and you know that can really put you on another level.
I'm always up for a challenge.
Yeah.
Both me giving the challenge and also receiving the challenge. So I always say to myself, I'm nobody. I'm just somebody doing something. That's it. So
that's it, man.
So yeah,
Ghana's in the pipeline, yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of travel in the pipeline actually, which
can't wait.
Wasn't
super excited to have you.
But
super excited to be around you in Ghana when that happens. Yeah, I want to be around there, man. To see you capture content, to be crazy. Yeah. So Instagram Reels. So like, to walk me through, like, how did you kind of like, what made you start to kind of focus? I know that our Instagram algorithm now is more tailored towards Instagram Reels. I know that IGTV as well now starting to play ads. I think Reels. Have we seen ads in Reels now?
Yeah, there's definitely ads in Reels.
Okay, cool. And it's going to be monetized eventually, right?
So monetization is happening at the moment, mostly in the US, because that's obviously where that's their playground and sandbox for things.
Yeah, sandbox.
And essentially they've already begun for a couple of creators in the UK, where you get monetized for IG Live, you get monetized for you can support people in the reels that they do.
Like Clubhouse a bit.
Yeah. So the whole mentality that Instagram has at the moment anyway, is you can use Reels to reach more people. You can use IG Live to make some money.
Yeah.
And then you can do branded partnerships or branded content partnerships to gain money from, selling clothes, drop shipping, all that kind of stuff. So if you're smart about it, you can make Reels, have fun with them, and then create your own audience and then go from there basically and do stuff. But all of that to say, I never started doing Friday Reels or any type of Reels with that motive.
But yeah, of course, because clearly when people see your content, even when I see your content, I realize that it's more of a passion for you. It's a hobby. It's just fun, something Friday fun that you want to do.
There's a lot of chaos and there's a lot of stress behind it.
Of course,
But
and I'm glad you're actually transparent with the process.
Yeah.
So he also has a series where you actually break down
how I made this,
which is very impressive, because that again, even that would probably be a fairly time consuming video to create.
Actually, so it's really funny. So I'll talk about both things, but the first thing is the how I made these video series, or how I made this video series, takes longer to make than the reel. And if the reel takes 8 hours to make, the how I made the series takes long, because you have to go back in, record what you're doing. My laptop listen, I love you. This laptop, I love you. It's tired. It can't process video and record video at the same time. So I'll be there.
Which laptop you got? You got a laptop or MacBook?
I got MacBook.
MacBook. Is that you're not the M1?
Oh, there's no way. My MacBook is 2011. My laptop has been around longer than my beard.
Wow.
It's lived life.
Wow.
It's died on me 4 times. I brought it back. The next time it dies, I'm gonna say thank you.
M1,
I can't do anything. It served me, and I love the laptop, but I can't do a lot of those types of videos because of capacity. But we're upgrading. I'll still keep the old one close to home, but
of course, that's your first baby, so you want to keep it close to home.
Exactly.
But it's just a testament to how robust Apple products are. Come on.
I don't. That one. That's a whole other conversation.
All right. Cool. So maybe Tim Cook, maybe your company's not valuable.
Okay. Listen, I'm here for the free stuff, but it doesn't mean that I'm just throwing out this is this. Like,
I think maybe that was Apple's sign to you to tell you to upgrade. Essentially, maybe. That's
I have to upgrade.
You can't Frankenstein it forever, baby.
No. We've been Frankenstein for too long. But the whole, and this kind of is part and parcel of the laptop setup, my setup at home and also in Madrid. I started Friday Reels because I got to the end of, 2020, I guess it must have been. We'd been in lockdown and stuck at home, all kind of stuff. And I said, okay, this year I'm taking videography to another level. But I've been stuck at home, and I realized I can make a lot of content in my house, but I don't want to make these kind of like, okay, this is corporate content. This is how you can shoot better videos for your...
it's too basic kind of thing.
Not it's too basic, but it was very much not geared towards what I like to do in terms of my free time. Okay. In my working time, I work with lots of corporate clients. I do a lot of that kind of stuff, re-editing presentations and slides and all this kind of stuff. And you can make that stuff cool, but for Instagram, you're scrolling through Instagram, you don't want to see someone saying, hey, if you take this PowerPoint, you can then animate it like this. I was like, nah. So then I decided to make a series of videos of doing cool stuff. That was it. That was the basic idea. And then I said, I know me, I need accountability. So I'm going to give whatever I call it a day that it has to come out on.
I like that.
So then Reels started becoming popular, and then I said, okay, Friday's a good day to release things because everyone loves Fridays. It's the end of the week. And also I do have clients, like if I'm doing something cool on a Wednesday and there's also a deadline, regardless of whether it's already made or not, it kind of doesn't look, that's what I thought at the time, it doesn't look good that on a Wednesday, this cool Reel's coming out, meanwhile you're expecting this presentation to be done.
True.
So Friday's a good day.
Makes sense, yeah.
I called it Friday Reels for simplicity. Did the first few, they did well. Then I got a couple of messages from people saying,
look, I've seen thousands of plays.
The fourth and fifth one, then they started getting into the thousands, and then I said, this is something.
So you didn't hit the 1,000 straight away.
I think the first one got like maybe 30 something likes and maybe in terms of views 400 views. And I was like, this is cool. Like I'm humble in that sense. Like I'm not trying to go for the stars. I'm happy that this 400 people have seen this, or it's been looped 400 times at least. And then from there the motivation kept going and going and going. And I kept making more reels, and they became more complex, and then I added in characters and things like that. And it was good fun. But all of this is happening at the same time while I'm trying to manage the freelance lifestyle and
Wow.
Spain at the same time.
Very busy guy.
And it was like, when I got work, I'm, 100% in,
You're yeah.
diving in.
Very focused guy. I saw you working on Instagram. Very focused guy.
I try not to get distracted. It happens. Like
Yeah.
the same, and also working with social media.
Yeah.
It's kind of impossible not to because you're on social media. But yeah, it got to a really good point. I got into a really good flow of it. But then the imposter syndrome kicked in, which is a huge thing.
A huge thing right now. And
Yeah.
It's a huge thing right now. It's trending, isn't it?
And then the other thing that kicked in was my laptop couldn't keep up with my ideas. And the reels were getting more and more complicated.
Yeah.
So then I went back to basics. I started making reels that were simple and said, look, let's just keep the stuff simple. Let's keep it nice and easy.
Yeah.
And then you can make tutorials that are easy and then change the format. And then it became fun again. And we did a whole roll.
I like that. You went back to the drawing board and you just tried to, work out how you could still execute the same thing, but yet still not have to compromise on what you want to do.
Exactly. And then in, I guess, around end of July, early August time, I was like, I need to hit pause on this because I don't know if I'm going to stay here in terms of in Spain. And as much as the reels are great and they're fun, they are not paying rent. Is the first thing. And number two, they're taking up a lot of my headspace to be able to do so, and I need to figure out a couple of things. 100%. And then when I come back, I can do things the way that I want to, but just knowing what I'm doing. Okay. That hitting pause kind of made me realize actually I can do exactly what you're doing. I can do seasons. Yeah. And so look, there's a seasons of cool reels. They can be as complex as I want. Cut off that season and then plan the next season and do it that way. So
there you go. Love it. But you know what? One of my favorite reels of yours is two of the favorite ones.
Go on.
I think my favorite one is. I think it may not be not one of the most popular ones, but as one when you're waking up from bed and you're late to work and you do that transformation thing. And and you're pretending to work. Yeah, and then you give that little look at the end. Like,
do you know what's funny?
I can't even do it, but you did it perfectly. When I saw that, I was like, that's got Kent written all over it, man.
So do you know what's really funny? A lot of these
Go check out his reels, guys. It's amazing.
Listen,
it's fun.
It's
and I remember when you came to hang out with us podcasters, they loved you. They loved your reels.
Thank you very much. The podcast crew is they're live, they're active, and
they love your reels, baby.
They send more messages than any of my friends. So, listen, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of podcasters.
Well, I haven't added you to the Young Ghanaian Professionals group, which you can be in if you want. But that group, man, messages
just all the time.
Messages all the time. Yeah, fantastic.
The reel that you're talking about, so it's the work from home reel.
Yeah, work from home. That's the one. Yeah.
So that one, and I'd say a lot of my reels are based on true stories. And the funniest part about that reel was it's exactly what happened that same
No
morning.
way.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think in terms of like when you're making fun content, would you advise that people just take inspiration from their own life?
Oh yeah, don't reinvent the wheel. Yeah. Listen, I'm very lazy. And people don't think that I'm very, very lazy. And people think, oh, but you're so productive. And it's like, because I look at things and say, here's a big task. Yeah. How can I make this simple? Because I don't want to be here for hours and hours and hours. Yeah. And because of that, when it comes to the creative process, I can't sit there.
That's a talent.
And listen, you take laziness and you run with it. Wow. You run with it. Like, it's not a negative trait.
He's actually admitting his laziness on my show.
Oh, yeah. And every day. I'll tell clients that. They'll say to me, okay, how can we do this? And I say, look, there's one way you can do it. Yeah. I'm a lazy person by nature. And I think we can do it this way. It's going to be more cost effective.
He needs to be the MP of laziness, man. Just consulting people.
This is it.
Consult people about leveraging laziness. Exactly. I can imagine you coming out with a book like Leveraging Laziness.
Listen,
how I grew my videography business.
This man has come up with ideas.
Have it, take it, run with it.
I'm going to, but slowly. I'm lazy.
Leveraging laziness, and that's a nice little alliteration there for you. There you go.
I like it. But yeah, that's in terms of what I'd advise people creating content is. Yeah, definitely go draw from life experiences because imposter syndrome is real, burnout is real, and you can get there a lot faster if you're trying to reinvent the wheel, if you're trying to do new things all the time. Yeah. And the way social media works, I'm not saying go and see what somebody has done and just steal it. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
100%.
You can be inspired by something that someone's done and make your own version of it, and I think that's cool. But if you have a life experience that you can create and put it into music and put it into a story, put it into a painting, put it into a video, whatever it is, go for that. Yeah. Because that's going to be more true to you than something that you've sat there for 4 hours trying to force an idea onto a piece of paper and saying, I'm not sure about it, but let's see if it works. Yeah. So that work from home one was, I had a meeting at with my boy Charles. Actually, he's Artspoken Madrid. It's incredible collective. They are doing wonderful work in Madrid.
Yeah, I've been watching their content. It's great.
Yeah, and
very active in some of the communities as well.
In Madrid, I mean, I try to be,
and I think it's important as a videographer, right, to be active in different communities. I think it's certain communities. I guess
it's important to understand what people are trying to do, and then subsequently be active in those communities. So understanding what the Sound of Accra is trying to do, and being active in this community, because if I don't understand what you're trying to do, when I'm active in the community, I'm just making noise. I'm not being helpful. I'm not being useful. But then when you can see what the vision is, and you can say, okay, cool, what can I contribute towards that? It doesn't have to be monetarily. It doesn't have to be in terms of services or anything like that. It can just be time, and you can say, okay, cool, this is what my skill set is. I can comment on a few things here and there, and then that's the way that I see life. That like try and help people out in that sense. And with Artspoken, Charles and I actually became really good friends. Like we knew each other beforehand.
Oh, he's one of the guys on your reels, right? Is he one of the?
He's not on my reel. No, he's not on my reels. Cool. There's been a few guest appearances on the reels of my
some funny ones, man.
Yeah, and a lot of the guest appearances have been very much just people saying, "Yo, I saw your Friday reels, man. I want to get involved," and I'm there at their house or wherever.
And then that helps you with the creative process. So
no, I've got my camera with me, and I'm like, if you want to do one, do one.
And I'll just bang it out.
I've got a list of like reels.
Do you carry your camera everywhere you go?
It's very rare that I don't. Today is the one day I don't have my camera. It's very rare that I don't have my camera with me.
Because why is that?
I like to film. So obviously, because I do a lot of client work, my brain is very much stuck on briefs. Okay. And then to keep up with the creative juices flowing, I like to film random stuff.
That's nice.
And try out things. Like it's not that I film sometimes I'll think my camera will go out and come home and I won't even touch it. Yeah. But just to know that I've got it with me, if something happens, I can do something with it. Okay. And also it's very lightweight. It's not a heavy camera.
It's not a heavy camera, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it goes with me most places. But when those like Friday reels have come up, gone to my boy's house and like stayed over or whatever, and while we're there talking, it's like, oh cool, it'd be really cool if we did like a reel. Yeah, I've got a list of real ideas because sometimes they'll come to you on the metro.
I'm sure you always get I'm sure you wake up with like, oh, that's a real idea. Oh, that's a real idea.
Sometimes it's like that, and then you look at the list and you go, now I have to make it real. This is
real to real. I like
from real to real.
Oh, I like that.
Stop sleeping. This is what you need. Stop sleeping. This is what you need in life.
I like that. Again, you can have that one. Okay, you know what? Let's track back a little bit, Ken. Okay, so you mentioned like the whole people messaging you like after seeing your reels. Is there any interesting encounters you've had where someone's seen a reel and they message you and you've actually been maybe they said something or they asked you for something or they proposed something to you and you were like, oh right, this is not quite nice.
So it's very funny. I don't see reels the same way everyone else does. Yeah. And not because I think that they are anything special or anything crazy. I just see them as this is fun content I put out on Fridays and that's that. Yeah. And then what's been really interesting is people come to me to ask for things and they're like, I saw your reels and I want to work with you. I saw your reels and I want to do stuff with you. Yeah. And I'm really proud and really happy when I hear that. But then I'm just like, what you're asking me to do and what you've seen have nothing to do. They're not even related. Yeah. So for example,
I think it shows your personality and it just shows that people can trust you. So I think it's more than just seeing that you can obviously do creative video and you can create. But I think it also shows off your personality and you're someone that you can trust because you're constantly putting out the reels, and it also shows that you're a hard worker. I mean, it shows so many different things to people.
And this is the part maybe that I'm missing because you outlining those things, I don't see them as that. I just see it as it comes out on Fridays because it's called Friday Reels, and that's far as that thought process goes. Yeah. So it's interesting because I think one of the clients that I got was to film a course basically. It's like a 10-hour course. It's segmented, and basically they needed a very much clean look to it, and it needs to be something that was branded. It needs to be very much like their style. Yeah. So we were talking about it, going through all the things, and they were just like, we really love your reels, and we really think that we could take this course somewhere. Yeah. So there's me in the meeting thinking, oh, they're gonna get me to do reels during the course, and for me, it's not making. I don't understand. It's not making sense. But it was when they were saying that they really love the reels. It was everything you're saying in terms of we love the consistency. We love the fact that like it's a branded piece of content and things like that. Yeah. And it was later on in the meeting, that I was like, oh, so you don't want reels,
Yeah.
you just like reels.
Yeah.
And then from there, it became a thing where people would hit me up and say, hey, I really love your reels. And you're like, okay, but this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And they're like, no, I like them, and
Yeah.
I want to make a music video. I want to make this course. I want to make this presentation and flip it. So yeah, the reels have, I said earlier on, the reels don't pay the bills directly.
The reels don't pay the bills.
The reels
The reels don't pay the bills. Wow, I like that. We can turn it into another rap. Real recognize reels. Real recognize reels. I like that. I don't know what's happening today, but I'm
this is
this is very interesting.
listen, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Hey.
And everyone else has to be here for it by force.
Saturday night, huh?
Exactly. So it has looked at interesting opportunities. What's the most interesting one?
Do you think they're more or less kind of the same kind of level? There wasn't like a standout like message or reaction that you got from someone. Oh, okay.
There was one.
Or like a verified celebrity. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So there was one.
Okay.
And this is my. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of, in terms of my history as a videographer, this is one of my favorite stories of working with clients.
Okay.
I got a message from a friend who was like, this agency wants to work with you. They're looking for someone. Well, this agency is looking for someone in Madrid who speaks English because they need to do some work.
Yeah.
And they said if they speak Spanish is a plus. And I was like, cool. Spanish is great. English is rusty, I guess. Like, I don't know.
I don't know anyone whose first language is English and then they move to Spain, become fluent in Spanish, and then their English becomes rusty.
Listen, I'm trying hard on this podcast, but there's some words that I'm like, don't say that. That's not. That's
you
not
got to speak Spanish, so you have to control yourself and speak
No,
Spanish.
not that. There's a lot of mistakes that you get because obviously you're surrounded by internationals,
True.
and therefore everyone's English is a different level. And you start to hear things that like silly things like, for example, when I used to teach English working with kids, in Spanish to say your age, you would say I have instead of I am. So instead of saying
I have 26.
Exactly.
I'm not that.
But if you hear that enough times, you would be talking. It's like, oh, yeah, true. Like, oh, she has 26, and you go, no, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't. It just came out.
Is this a real thing?
This is a real thing.
I'm making this up. Oh,
this is a real thing. You can ask any
hilarious.
person that's gone to another country will come back and be like, I say weird things sometimes. Just let me be. It's
Spanglish.
not,
Spanglish.
It is. It is Spanglish, and it's unintentional. So this company hits up my
Spanglish dictionary. We'll have to find the show notes. We have to find the link and put it in the show.
Oh no, there's tons of websites you can see people reverse engineering Spanish and being like, this is what people say in Spanish, or phrases that you say in Spanish when you translate to English make no sense, and vice versa. Like silly little things.
Yeah.
But so my boy Andy, shouts to Andy, who's also he's another videographer, kid in the game, and
shout out to Andy.
He messaged me basically saying, look, this is what they're looking for. They haven't really given me a brief. They're just a really big agency. They pay well. Yeah, just get in touch. I said, cool. He sent me the email of the agency. Yeah, it's an agency that I've been following religiously for about 2.5 years.
Wow.
So the agency is called Westbrook Media. Ooh. Westbrook Media, for context, is Will Smith's production house. It's his production company. And
because he's got like a production house and production company like in his own house kind of thing, you know.
So that's the Red Table. They run all of that.
Okay.
And basically, what they do as they're an agency essentially. What they do is they
all the way from America.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're in LA.
And they wanted to work with you.
This is the thing.
Interesting. And they needed someone in Madrid.
They need someone in Madrid, and what they facilitate for Will Smith is essentially all of his social media, so YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
He takes it seriously. He actually takes it seriously.
They're pumping in a lot, but they work hard and they work at all hours. You can email them anytime, and 5 o'clock at LA time, they're replying back to me, and I'm like, I was sending the email because I'm awake, not because you need to be awake. They are on it. But they have to because it's go.
Will Smith just wants it.
Exactly.
He just wants to be even more famous, right?
Exactly. So the project I worked on was they were doing some work with Snapchat, the collaboration they had with Snapchat, and they needed a videographer to go to there's like a celebrity's house to go and film some content while they did like a Zoom interview with him. So it's like two angles. One's from the Zoom call and the other one's from...
Yeah, one of those things. Yeah, there's professional calls, yeah.
And we go on the phone call and they said, oh, we saw your reels. They're really cool. And I was like, oh, thanks very much. And they were just like, yeah, so we're going with you. And I'm like, wait, what? We haven't... It wasn't... I've been thinking it's going to be an interview. And they're like, nah, like, we've seen your work. We know you do good stuff. We need you to do this task, this task, this task. And then they said... In actuality, we need a producer and then a videographer. If you feel that you can do both, awesome. If you feel that you need to get someone else, fine. They explained the whole project to me, and it was great. Like they they covered everything that I needed covered, like cars, expenses, all that kind of stuff. And everyone was really humble in terms of like both on the agency side and the celebrity side.
Yeah.
It was a really nice experience. And when I went away from it, I was like, I could get used to this kind of life.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Even I'm picturing it.
They're a great agency. They work really, really hard. And
Respect.
yeah, that again, the Reels didn't give me that job, but they gave them the security to be like you're saying, he's
like he can do.
Oh, excuse me.
It's all right.
He's consistent with his stuff. So that's my most my humble brag, most exciting story from Reels, basically.
Yeah. So in conclusion, we can say that starting the Friday Reels was probably one of the best initiatives that you took.
4,000%.
Wow.
4,000%.
And I think I know exactly what I'm going to name this episode. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to ask.
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss
that
after the show. But yeah, I think I've got an idea what to mention. So I've got a good best idea for this title of the show. Wow, that's quite something. Even I've learned from that. And it just shows how creating content and just being consistent and just putting it out there and just showing people what you're all about. It can take you further than you could imagine. Rather than just trying to shove something down someone's throat, just being yourself, just creating content.
That's the biggest part. If you make content with the purpose of I'm trying to be famous, or I'm trying to be this person, that person, which is what I was doing before. I was uploading all of my client work saying, hey, I just made this piece of work, I just did this, I just did that.
0 likes, 0 likes, -1 likes.
Yeah, but I mean, I got likes and people decided it's cool, you did work with this company. Nice. Yeah. I would upload a story about, so for example, the other day when I was moving out of my house, I uploaded a story or did a story about me getting locked out of my house. Yeah. The messages that were flooded in, and I said, when I post my client work, nobody wants to know me. Yeah. Now that I said I got locked out of the house, everyone's, haha, look at you got locked out of your house.
That's the way the world is, isn't it? They want cat videos, is what we call it.
Catphilia?
They want cat videos. They want to watch
cat videos. I was going to say, I was like, what, catphilia? What was that word?
No, not
cat videos. Yeah. There's a certain level of entertainment. I'm not saying you've got to be an entertainer, but it's interesting to see a person doing their stuff than it is to see the result. People like to see the process. So if you're a content creator or trying to get into it, be consistent, but before that, be you. I think that's what this year and Reels has taught me, that like the Reels have their only objective is to be cool. And who defines cool? Me. Nobody can come and tell, oh man, I didn't like that reel last week. Okay, like that's fine. But I'm just making them because it's just something I want to do and I think they're cool kind of thing. So
and they're definitely cool and you're definitely cool making them, and please don't stop, and please bring back Friday Reels when the time's right.
They're coming. There's some exciting stuff coming up that
UK version is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Now you've got a bigger space to work with, you understand?
A lot of place to run around to get in trouble. I'm not getting arrested. I'm not causing any trouble for anyone. Mum, if you're watching, I'm still a God-fearing human being.
no Nico Amalano type videos.
Who's that?
Okay, well, you don't know who that is?
No.
Right, we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, okay.
But he's basically, he's a YouTuber, right? He's a very funny YouTuber, and he he likes to take risks with his content. Like, he does a lot of prank videos. Like,
is he the tall, skinny guy?
Black guy, yeah. Like, half Nigerian, half English, I think.
Oh, no, I don't know.
You'll find him. I mean, I'll show you his YouTube and Instagram and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, he actually ran for mayor. And actually voted for him.
What's his face? Nico. Yeah. I heard Nickel. I was like, yeah.
Nickel. I think he's been in Spain a bit too long. Or maybe it's me. Or maybe I do need sleep. Who knows? Maybe I do need sleep.
Yeah. No. What did he call it? I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. He's from Sidemen. Yeah.
No, he's not from Sidemen. He's got his own version of Sidemen. The KSI is from Sidemen, but he's
because I always see him with Sidemen now.
He's got his own version of Sidemen. I can't remember what it's called. I'll think about it.
We'll
discuss it.
No, I like that stuff.
I've got Studio Time, so we can discuss
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So clearly, if you didn't move to Spain, right? I don't think. Do you think you would have been a videographer today if you didn't move to Spain? Because that one thing led to another, didn't it? You will be probably a completely different career path. Do you think?
So before moving to Spain, I worked in IT, tech support for mobile devices. Yeah. I was surrounded by small gadgets all the time. Yeah. I probably would have stayed there, probably been promoted, and then worked in management and been on 75k in some swanky office in London. Maybe.
Yeah, of course.
Again, if for some people that works, cool.
Yeah.
Would I become a videographer? I think the passion came because in Spain I was able to explore
Yeah.
And I was able to use Spain, like I said, as a playground. I was able to kind of just run around and be like, okay, cool, I'm going to film video. I'm going to go do this event, do this, do that.
Yeah, it was more sandbox friendly. Like in London, I mean, it's just like you can, but I mean, it's just not the same. You know?
I think the level of competition here is a lot higher. In Spain, when I first started, it was very naive of me, but I was like, man, there's only like 4 videographers that are like levels. So I can just run as fast as I can to get to whatever standard and then charge tons of money. And it's naive because it doesn't matter whether you're levels or you're not levels. It's about understanding what people need, kind of thing. So that process of me trying to run to get to this goal that didn't really make sense, but whatever. I think Spain was kind of key. And if I didn't move, I'm probably would have done a bit of videography, but not to the standard or level that I'm doing it today. Basically.
Do you have any personal projects that you plan like to do in the future? Like, for example, I've got close friends who I've known for many, many years who have become photographers and videographers, and they're like one of them is called Adifio. Shout out to Adifio, and he does like documentaries. Like he likes to create documentaries. And he likes to like do stuff with pictures and stuff like that. Do you have any ideas like or things? Maybe you don't even have to say it, but I mean, do you have like ideas that you want to execute in the future, like your spare time to create some kind of projects?
So there's a couple of things. I guess it's more around exploring videography for other people. I think that I've gotten to a point where I understand a lot of things, and in my head they're very normal. Someone will send me a video and they'll be like, how does someone make this? And I'm like, oh, they did this, this and this. And I'm like, did you see the behind the scenes? I'm like, no, I just know because this is what I do. And I realized that one project for me would be really interesting, at least to explore, is one recreating other people's videos.
That'd be fun. Is there one that you recreate? What as in like a music video or like a?
So there's 2, I guess, pillars there. One is recreating content or explaining how content can be made from a music video perspective, or content that isn't so much like visual effects essentially. And the other is the more visual effects type stuff. I'm someone who's very keen on looking at creating a lot with very little, using as little resources, because again, I have all this camera equipment, I have all these lights, but I started off with none of it, so I can still use it. So one of the series I want to do is looking at the visual effects stuff and seeing how people can do stuff like that with their phones. And to be able to do that, I need to go off and, as a personal project, go and explore what limits it has, because in my head I know them, but I need to go and check those out. And then kind of recreating things like music videos and things like that. There is a smaller, which I can give you a little bit insight into, but there's a smaller side project I want to do, which I think is going to be fun anyway. But just recreating music videos in a funny way, but not the whole video, because it's a lot. But like, just, I know, taking Nicki Minaj releases a new video and it's just like, okay, how similar can I make a piece of content that looks like this specific scene? And again, I have everything I need, I can get access to, so I can set out some time and just go, right, okay, cool, next week Saturday I'm going to spend the whole day recreating nonsense. So
it kind of reminds me of, I think there's someone that does this fairly well, but I mean more like movie scenes, I think. Captain Sinbad, the YouTuber. He likes to kind of like recreate scenes or kind of like do like his own kind of take on it. It's quite funny. And also he likes to what is it that he likes to do as well? He likes to kind of like take, someone's have the way someone is and then put his own spin on it. Like for example, like he's got like a series called Watch So and So Once, and then he just basically just pretends to be that person. For example, Gary V. For example, I watched Gary V once, and then when you watch the video, you just see him just
the mannerisms, the way he
everything
talks.
he does. It's just so important. You just burst out laughing. I think that's how I found that's how I got into his content, because I think I stumbled upon his content. I think there was a period where I was watching a lot of Gary V videos, and I stumbled upon one of his videos. I think again, the algorithm
is there. You can work with it or work against it.
There you go. And then obviously it was bam, there it was, and I was just bursting out laughing. I was like, his content's great. His content is great. And he actually a little side note, he actually was working full time, then was a YouTuber on the side, and then basically what happened was that he got to a point where his subscribers had grown, and then he decided to just quit and become a full time YouTuber. Yeah, even though he could keep his job, which was a high paying 6-figure salary, something like that in his eyes. Yeah. So
YouTube content as well is another thing.
It's
Like that's going to come back. In fact,
great, yeah.
I was actually going to start this week, but there's repair work happening, and the drilling. It's not like from 9 till 12. The drilling is just whenever, and I'm like,
it's not happening.
It's not happening. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can do that, and then start batch creating content, and then get on that as well.
Yeah, fantastic. It'll be good to see you on YouTube as well, man. When the time is right. Do you find it easier to create content on YouTube or more for Instagram? Is that there's a lot more work, or is it about the same, or it's different? They're both different.
How long's a piece of string? How long? Like a 15-second reel can take me 2 days to make, and a 5-minute YouTube video could take me half a day to make. It really depends on what's going into it. I think with the YouTube content, it takes me longer to do because I'm accustomed to do it for other people, not for myself.
Yeah.
So the setup is a lot more elaborate than what a reel could be.
Yeah.
Is the first thing, and also, for me, the type of content I'm doing is to educate.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm very much critical on what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, and how it could potentially be understood. I actually have a piece of content that's like edited, made, good to go about like setting up your iPhone to do video content just in general.
Yeah.
The video's been sitting on my hard drive for finished for I would say a month and a half now.
That's all right. It's not too bad. I thought you were about to say a year. I was going to be angry.
No, but like a month and a half, and I'm still just like, I might re-record it. I've done the whole edit, done all the animations, done everything, and gone.
That's what happens when you sleep on something, right? You know, because
it was because when I recorded it, it was a get it done, just go and get it done. And then after I recorded it, I said, this part I've gone way too, because I'm a huge geek, I've gone way too technical, and this part I kind of have skimmed across it because it doesn't need to be talked about that much. But from my own point of view, it needs to be something that's even. My goal is to help people that are either getting into videography or kind of have an understanding of it. So that needs to be reflected in the content that I make, and that there's certain parts of the video that I'm just like, you're explaining it to another videographer in this part. Like it's way too this high level information that you're just going, this is easy, boom, 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 and it's not easy, kind of.
Yeah. Just to wrap this up, I mean, before we kind of close the off, talk us through the Black in Madrid, or is it Melanin Madrid or Black?
It's Melanin Madrid, Black in Madrid series.
I think these are some of the favorite content series I've seen you being associated with.
Yeah.
Just briefly, just talk about.
So shout out to Trinica. So Trinica is the owner and founder of Melanin Madrid, and she is actually based in Houston and does a ton of different events. In fact, one just happened on Thursday, just a Thursday, for Melanin in Madrid, essentially. Everyone's welcome. It's open to everyone, and it's always a good time because people are just down for a good vibe. And a couple of years back, she had organised with some other videographers to make this documentary. Shout out to Alex and Sidra, also really good friends of mine. And they are really into the documentary world. So they said, look, we want to link up, make this documentary. It's going to be a 9 to 10 part series of basically Melanin in Madrid, their stories, and it's going to be very open. Like people can talk about their own experiences living in Madrid.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because we'd never seen all of them. We'd heard about who was involved and kind of knew a couple of the characters that were going to be there, but didn't know what anyone had spoken about because all the questions were different for every single person. It was kind of like this. So we went to the premiere. I think that was like late last year, maybe. Okay. And
dressed up in the tux like the Bond.
wasn't
that kind of.
I was dressed up a little. I put on a nice shirt. Which you know.
I'll take that.
Yeah. And there was basically 9 very different stories of what people had experienced in Madrid, and it was really cool to see that. So I did mine with my boy CJ, and ours was very much about our life in Madrid as musicians and creatives, and what that's like and the challenges that you face from the perspective of just growth as an artist, encountering racism, and also I guess some of the highs and lows of what we've been through. That in contrast to Izzy, who's from Hackney actually, who lives in Madrid. He has is a family, so he's got 3 kids, and he was talking about his life in Madrid, but over a span of like 25 years. So looking at those two in contrast, it's like this document talks about 25 years of experience.
Wow.
Ours talks about we did a couple gigs and things went bad and people didn't show up and blah blah. So it was a really, really cool series because you basically get a really good understanding of what Spain has been like for different people, and it's in English and Spanish, but it's subtitled in reverse, basically.
Yeah, I love that. Ken, Melanin Ken.
Melanin Ken.
Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. Where can everyone find you?
So I'm active on socials. So you can find me on socials pretty much everywhere at Hello Accra, which is hello, evidently.
Yeah.
EKOW. For reference, that's my middle name.
Mm-hmm.
And then so that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
TikTok. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're on TikTok.
Oh, right,
It's growing. It's growing.
Okay.
And yeah. Not a lot of content is being posted now. By the time this comes out, it probably be back. But it's very light at the moment while we're in this transition period.
100%.
And then we'll be back with season 2, essentially.
100%. Look, Ken, I'm really excited about the journey you've taken and where you're about to go, especially your relocation back to the UK and potentially Ghana and etc. Other countries on the horizon that you said you mentioned. Look, I have no doubt you're going to go places, and I'm really excited to follow this journey with you, man.
I'm excited for your journey. I'm excited more so because we're going back to this. Yeah. This is the sign of another big step, and I'm excited to see.
It is.
Especially to see where it's going to go.
Actually, I got a message from my first ever guest. He's actually in London, so I'm actually going to get him in the studio, man. I'm really excited.
Look at this. We are proud of you. We are all proud of you, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Thank
you very much. So, guys, there you have it. The Sound of Accra podcast. For today's show notes, make sure you head over to thesoundofaccra.com /
Ken Daniels. I almost forgot my own name. I said, what is it this time?
There you go. Make sure you leave us a review on Apple Podcast. I tried to
Let me do it immediately.
There you go. He's doing it.
I walked in. He said, "You've got an iPhone. Do a review."
Yeah. We're on social media at The Sound of Accra on Instagram, LinkedIn, and I think my social media guy is making a Facebook account for us now because there's both podcasts on Facebook. So thank you, guys. Take care.